back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
All right, Bernica, welcome to the Montrella Cowan Show. We are delighted to have you join us, dear.
Thank you. I am so honored to be here as an invited guest. So I'm very excited.
Yes, we love to have you. So we're going to jump right in. As you know, our audience is business members, business persons, what I call bosses, different levels of their business. So some are starting out, a lot of them are already in business, but they're trying to level up to seven figures. And so we try to bring all the goods, all the juice, all the tea. We try to provide practical tools that they can use for their business. And so I also like to look at different types of businesses and different types of professionals because most businesses have some component of like customer service and, different things like that. So nonetheless, we want to hear all about you, girlfriend. So why don't you tell us about your business? Give us an overview.
Well, my business, I am the founder of Mommy and Me Creations. I started this business a couple years ago. Like it's been 5 years since I started this business. Mommy and Me Creations is a place and a platform for Black mothers, not just limited to Black mothers, but I specialize in helping Black mothers to help feel seen, loved, cared for, and to be feel valued. A lot of women in my, especially my age range, they don't know who they are. They don't know themselves. So with me creating this, being a mother of three, and just always having the knowledge of myself, always being taught the value of myself. I wanted to be able to do something to pour back into women. I have always been asked questions like, how do I balance out being a mother, at the time a wife, and just business and life in general? So that was really like my calling, to help other women to be able to bring that.
Awesome. So it really was birthed out of people coming to you and asking you questions about how to balance parenthood and other areas of life and things like that.
Yes, so my life literally just became a brand. It became a business. I was a homeschool mom before my divorce, and I would show everything that I do with my children. And people was asking me questions like, like how did you find out about homeschooling? What was your drive about it? Just those different things. And I would just show myself active with my children, along with me being in the community. I'm a member in a Muslim in the Nation of Islam. So I am family is a cornerstone of a nation, of a community, of the world. So family is very important to me. So I take pride in being a mother of three children. But like I also mentioned, I did go through a divorce. So in my pain, I've also brought purpose to that. And that's what helped me to be able to pour into other women during the times that I needed it the most. So yeah, that's pretty much like was is my drive for everything. Helping women to understand who they are beyond their titles, helping women to rediscover themselves. So that's what I do as far as coaching is concerned when we talk about my business, as far as what I do individually. So I coach other mothers to help them to know that they are more than their titles, more than mom, more than boss, more than wife, just who you are as a person.
Wow. Okay, that's really, really powerful. So powerful. All right. So you said your life is basically a business. People come to you naturally for support, help, ideas. So you work individually or it's like a group of women?
So I'm branching out more individually.
Yes.
It's more group setting. So I started out actually with Mommy and Me Creations. Again, my life just became a business, so I didn't know exactly what direction when I first started the business on where I was gonna go. So I started out with just like Mommy and Me t-shirts and just different things, Mommy and Me, and then I would do pop-up shops. And so I had pop-up shops because me being in a marriage where I was fully taken care of, I didn't have my own income. So with me going through a dark time, I wanted to help other women to display their gifts and their talents, but also to be able to create revenue for themselves. So that's how all of that came about. And then over time, as time progressed, I had an annual event called Baskets and Blankets. And that's where I have mothers all over the community that will come out, and we will have healthy bonding activities, and we will come with our baskets empty and they will leave with them full. So I will do different things in the community, And eventually I branched into doing interviews on Facebook before a podcast. So interviews on Facebooks, and I was interviewing women from struggles to success. How do we overcome? Now in 2025, I interview women and we fully transparent. We talk about healing and how do we transform. So yeah.
And when you say healing, healing from what specifically?
Um, Healing from whatever life situations that come in their path, pretty
Mhm.
much. I have had women on there talking about the loss of their children, almost near death experiences. I have people who talk about their endeavors in the tax industry, bakers. I have different women coming over talking about things that they have encountered in life, but how they overcame and transformed to their next level. What did they have to do to grow past the different obstacles that came into their level of life? So
Got it. And how long were you married?
I was married um 11 years before the separation,
Wow.
13 years officially through the divorce process.
Do you have
Yes.
any regrets about getting a divorce?
I don't. I believe that I had the opportunity of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas because we were separated at one point for almost 2 years. So I had time to introspect. I had time to grow. I had time to rediscover me outside of my marriage, outside of my children. I came into the health and wellness industry. I started a company called Total Life Changes. And in that,
Congratulations.
I literally learned about business. That's where that came about. But outside of business, I learned how to personal develop. I didn't necessarily know how to do that part. I learned how to pour into myself. I learned about community. I learned about it was different women groups that I had joined. I really learned about networking. I traveled alone. It was so many things that I was not able to do or even thought to do in a marriage. So I was able to rebuild myself in that time frame. And so when I did go back to try to work it out, I just seen that it did not work. And I had left the marriage with no regrets.
Got it. Well,
Yeah.
y'all listening out there, for those of you who are in a marriage, I know we say until death do us part, and you might feel stuck in the rut. And, there are other ways to look at it. We're not giving marriage counseling or advice tonight, but she's a great example of, being able to recreate yourself after that and make those powerful decisions because those are some big choices you had to make, especially
Yes.
with children involved. That must have been challenging.
You know what? I think that was challenging initially. It was challenging initially because my mother, she is so amazing. And I know she wanted to change the trajectory in our family. And the women in our family, they are all married, but there was a time frame where all the women in our family had children at age 17, unmarried. And with me, my mother said it was going to be different. So I got married, I had my children, all those things. So a part of it was I didn't want to let my mom down. And I also didn't want to go through the same things that she went through. So I had to take myself out of that mindset first. Like, I'm my own person. I'm not letting her down. I can't stay in a situation because of my mom. The second part of it was, yes, it was my children. I had to think like I didn't have an income for myself. So I had to think about like what I was going to do, what that looked like for me. And but the biggest thing overall to make me make that decision, I always wanted to be able to show my children a healthy life. And I wasn't going to be able to give them healthy inside my marriage. So that was very important for me. So it didn't, when I really just sat with myself, you know how they say, write the list. The
Yeah.
things that I wanted for my children, it was not aligning in my household. And I'm very big on if a house is divided, it can't stand. And we were in two different mental spaces. So I knew it was just best to let it go and we'll be better co parenting than actually together to try to, keep up with the image.
Got it. Woo, you dropping. I hope y'all taking notes out there. You dropping some real bars. So, would you say that it was like a difference in the values between you and him? Like, even with parenting, did you come from different value systems, or what was the conflict?
The conflict, oh, it's so hard for me to say because I really don't. It seemed like so cliche, like we were young, but that did have a
I
factor
was
in it.
curious about how old
I got
are
married
you?
at 19,
Oh,
and a month later I
my
turned 20. So,
my son's 21. I can't even imagine that.
and I had my son at 21.
Oh,
So yes, we were young. Him just growing into his business and learning himself. He started out as an apprentice as an electrician, and he eventually grew over time, and he became a master electrician. He was a contractor. However, outside of work, it was the mosque because we were Muslim. And that was just his focus. It was like mosque, work, school. It wasn't like really the balance of family, so to speak. So when that was a lot for me, like just only just dealing with the children and not really having an outlet with my husband. So that was a big factor. And then when we had that separation, that's where he kind of like found the time to do everything. So, he found the time to do everything. So I felt like, okay, well, if we try to work it out, maybe he'll have time and he'll prioritize family. But we went separate ways. He went a separate way from being in the mosque. So spiritually, we wasn't aligned, and then the value system just kind of went the same way.
wow.
Yeah.
All right. So that equally yoke, y'all. That's
Equally
important.
yo is so important. Yes.
It takes a lot of courage. Yeah. Now, ultimately, did your mom end up supporting you when she saw where you were coming from?
She did. My mom was very big on not wanting to get involved because she wanted me to make my own decision without the persuasion of her.
Right.
Which that was hard for me because I needed my mom. It's like I need you, and she's a transformational life coach and all the different things. So I value what my mom said. You know how like most children are like when your mom said you don't really listen, but I value the things that my mom say. So like to not really have her and her wanting to make sure I make this decision on my own, that was like one of the most difficult times. She was here for me, but she wanted me to make that decision. But when I did, she supported me in that. So that made the difference.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear you listen to your mama because, like I said, I got a 21-year-old, and it's,
Mhm.
you're right. A lot of young adults, mama say go left or daddy say go left, they go right, right, they go left. And they can hear from someone else, but
Right.
from their parents. So it's good that y'all have that bond and relationship. And that says a lot. That speaks volumes in terms of the family structure and the value systems you're passing on to your children as well. So
Yes.
yeah,
I mean, we had our moments. My mom will always say, I used to say, when I turn 18, I'm out. I had those phases. I
I
don't
can
remember
believe
that part of it.
it.
I don't remember to the degree of that part, but I think it's so important that for training a child up in the way that they should go. I
Yeah,
think that's so vital because my mom made it clear that I can be your friend, but I'm not one of your friends at the same time.
yes.
So she will always tell me, I'm never going to cast my pearls to swine. And
Mhm.
so everything she would give me, whether I liked it or not, it will always either come from the Bible or the Quran. So she's like, you're not mad at me. This is what God says. So she will always place it there. And just her life experiences. My mom was she's an open book, very transparent about a lot of things. So yeah, so it is really just being groomed and trained in a way that I should go. And that's what helped me to be able to get through those dark moments. That was like the light that helped navigate me to those moments. And that's what really gave me my passion to help other women because I was taught my worth. My mom led me with Proverbs 31. You are a
That's
book. She would literally have me read a chapter. Yes, so you have to know who you are because this world will tell you who you are, and you will feel crushed and you will feel defeated. So you have to have something that's a light at the end of the tunnel, and that was literally that. So yes, I made my own mistakes, and I had those things, but I was able when I couldn't pick up the phone with mom, or too embarrassed to talk to my friends. I had the word to guide me through to say who I was, even when I felt broken. So.
very powerful. I love it. All right, let's talk business for a little
Yes.
bit, but this is part of it. Ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen, I know life be life and while the business is still going and
While the
growing,
business is still
and working
going.
on it and working in it, life is happening. So this is real practical. That's what we like to do, provide our audience with practical tools, and just also to let y'all know we're human too. We have
Yes.
some stuff too. So if you're in the middle of something, sometimes it feels like you're the only one. Know that you're
Mhm.
not, and know that there is a way out. And it's powerful because what I'm hearing overall, like out of, when I put the pieces together, what you're saying, I'm like, okay, ultimately you had a vision, a very powerful vision, starting with your mom who wanted to break the cycle of, having the children out of wedlock as a teenager. Y'all did
Yes.
that. Did you recognize that? Y'all already did that. Y'all
Mhm.
broke that cycle.
Yes.
And sometimes you just gotta take a pause for the cause.
Yes.
That's done.
Right.
That's a done.
Right.
But overall, just a healthy family, healthy relationships. The vision is clear and it's there.
Yes.
Rebecca 2 and 2, y'all make the vision plain.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, when things weren't aligning, while it may be extremely difficult, it's like you don't want to compromise that because you do have a vision.
Yes.
Yeah, really powerful. Okay. Do you use a particular framework in your business? If so, can you tell us about that?
Well, I am working on a project now. I will be launching soon books and journals. And my book is called Wife, Mom, Boss, I'm More Than My Title. And I have a self-love journal that will help walk you through to help you to rediscover yourself outside of everything the hats that you wear.
Okay.
So just really sitting with yourself, helping women to sit and reflect and really just taking that time. Because the hardest thing to do is confront yourself. Because you're like, how did I get to this point? A lot of people who I talk to, they don't know where to start. They don't know themselves. So that's the biggest thing. So it's like, how do we get to that point of getting to know you? A lot of times we are looking for everything outside of us and everything is within us. So helping women to really show up and not be that irritable mom, that impatient mom. And we want to show up for our children, but we're showing up broken. So how do we come together whole and complete? So yeah.
Absolutely. Wife, mom, boss. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I am more than my titles.
I love it. I'm all of those. I love it. That's really powerful. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what do you think it is that keeps people, because we got some men out there too, some brothers out there too, some
Yes.
sisters out there too. And we want to also empower you guys to be able to support the women in your lives. What do they say? Behind every good man is a great woman.
Yes.
Brothers, don't feel excluded. You are included, and it's a holistic family affair. So, what do
Yes.
you think though makes people like not know who they are or even lose
Um,
themselves? Because you're helping them to.
yes. I think it's society, it's social media, it's the things that we tune into. Um, One of the things Minister Farrakhan said, he says, environment is stronger than heredity. So you could grow up in a church, you can be, how they say, the preacher's kid and all those different things. But the environment that you in, it could corrupt all good character,
Yeah.
So environment doesn't necessarily even nowadays mean like somewhere you have to go. It's literally the things that you feed on from social media, the music that you're listening to, the foods that you're eating. So, especially when I'm specializing with Black women, how is the Black woman's image? In order to be somebody of value, you have to have a nice body. So now your value is in your body. So if your body don't look right, you don't feel good about yourself. So
Mhm.
there's a difference between self-esteem and self-worth. Your esteem is how you feel about yourself, and that could change at any moment. Because when my hair not done, I'm not feeling my best. But when my hair is done, you go see me in the camera, but that's a up and down feeling. But what is your worth? Who do God say that you are? Ultimately, if he say that you are more valuable than rubies, diamonds, gold, people lose their lives to go to the depths of the earth to get gold, and you're more valuable than that. So when you talk about this society, who they say that we are, and then what people have said about you, it could be your mom, it can be your friend, it could be anybody or any little thing that make you feel less than yourself. So I think that all has a part to play.
Wow. Yeah, I hear that difference between self-esteem and self-worth. What? And I like what you're saying. It's like the self-esteem is more like that can fluctuate.
Yeah.
Another way I think about that, as you put it like that, so sweet, so eloquently, is I always talk about the distinction between a fact and the truth. And a fact is something that changes. If you don't like the rain and it starts out a pouring rainy day, you might think, oh, the weather sucks. But by the time you come out for your lunchtime, it could be the most beautiful day. The sun can be shining. So
Right.
that's a fact that yes, the weather was bad in the morning, but by the afternoon, it was absolutely beautiful. So
Correct.
facts change. But the
Yes.
truth, however, never
Re-
changes.
Remains
It
the same.
remains the same. And so that's what I think about self-esteem. Like you said, if my head not dead, and it's funny because people don't even see my transition. That's how serious I am about keeping it dead. They don't
Mm-hmm.
even see it. It's like in and out. And it's just like, I get it washed and it's right back, twisted up and yeah, nobody sees it.
Yes. Yes.
But if, I had one of those down days when my head wasn't dead, oh yeah, I'm not doing selfies that day. But that's like the facts that change. We can have bad days. But then when it comes to self-worth, that remains the same, that we're
Right.
made in God's image.
Right.
That's the truth, y'all. It doesn't
Yes.
change. I love that. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
love that. I hope y'all taking notes and put some comments in the comment section. We want to hear your thoughts. How y'all feeling this conversation? Woo, fire, fire, fire. So yes, society, the environment does play a huge, huge role. And but you know this, I think you mentioned it earlier. Just it really does start within though, because
Yes.
while environment gives us all those, false beliefs and ideas about who we are, lies really. um, and we can't really transform if we don't do the work within internally and start to recognize who we are.
And that's why I help women to go within, because it's the self talks. It's how you talk to yourself. So it's everything that you're taking in from the outside and how you're internalizing it on the inside. So that is so important. One of the things that I've learned growing up, my grandmother used to always say, be careful what you allow to go on your ear gate because it affects the heart and your mind. And when that is affected, that's a war right there within self. So it's literally the things that we tell ourselves. Whatever you say about yourself is true, and that's why affirming your day and how you feel and who you are, because even if you don't feel like you're not those things, when you affirm it, everything after I am, it is. So you just have to keep saying it until you believe it, and you can recreate yourself at any point beyond what you feel about yourself, beyond what was said. But it's literally those self talks. So it's the self belief. So yes, you have to go within and really just listen to yourself, because yeah, the way that we talk is very negative.
Yeah, I like the way Grandma put it, the egg gate. Check the egg gate for any BS. In this case,
Yes.
BS is belief systems, y'all. Y'all know we keep invading PG over here. No, seriously, the BS, the belief systems, check them at your ear gate. I love that. That is so real and so powerful. So tell us how, because you've done been through some stuff.
Yes.
Like I said, mom, wife, boss, and then some. Daughter,
All of
siblings,
it.
like a lot. What would you say are the three sort of main things that helped you to overcome any adversities or challenges that you faced in your life while trying to do your business?
My belief system, my faith in God, my value in myself,
Yes.
and community.
Okay. Only the faith. Yeah, I know we some believers over here. If you're a believer,
Yes.
put that in the chat. So that's crucial. And a lot of that comes with faith, like the things we can't see, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You want to elaborate on that?
You have to have faith the size of a mustard seed, literally, and that was something that I gave out to the parents and the children at one of my events. It's tiny, literally, and to have faith that God will move a mountain for you, and a mountain is just the huge obstacle to where it just seemed like what you said in the beginning, where you feel like you're the only person going through it. But you got a faith when you have faith that God can make any, he said, be and it is. He created light, just be, just have the mindset of be. So by me having that faith, by me growing up, with the teachings that I had, I knew that it was more. I knew that God was going to bring me through. If He brought me to it, He was going to bring me through it. So it was just a matter of me navigating through that situation, and peace be still, because I'm the eldest. I'm the eldest of nine. So I'm used to being in control and have to figure things out and being strong and all those different things. So a situation that was beyond my control to a degree, that was hard.
Mm.
Like
Yes.
I ain't have no answers. I couldn't figure it out. That was like, oh, okay, I have to sit in that. I can't run from this. So yeah,
Wow, really, really powerful and so important, y'all. Keep the faith, have the faith, maintain the faith. The mustard seed can move a mountain. Absolutely. Sister Branika is dropping it. Woo! She's dropping it, dropping fire, y'all. So you definitely wanna like rewatch this one and share it with your loved ones because this is real life that we're
real.
talking about and what we're talking about dealing with. Okay. So after, your belief system, your faith, your next piece to help you overcome was the value in yourself.
My
Tell us
word.
on a practical level, how does one obtain that or recognize that?
That's, I think, on a practical level, just sitting with yourself, honestly,
Yes.
figuring out you and
Yeah.
what that looked like, because nobody can't give you that.
Mm,
Because what worth is, for me, it may not be that for someone else. And
mm,
that could be the difference because of a upbringing or
mm,
anything else. So when I talk on a level of faith and just the things that I was brought up on,
mm,
Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he says, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. When you teach a man, you teach an individual, but when you teach a woman, you teach a nation. So when you understand that you teach a nation, like what does that really mean? We are the first everything to our children. First of
mm,
all, women are the mother of civilization, Black woman. But when you talk about you being the first everything to your child, everything, so I felt like beyond my circumstances, I am responsible for the life that is ended that God gave me, through my children, these gifts that he gave me through my children. I am the first everything. I don't need any degrees. I don't need any credentials or somebody to tell me, who I am. That's my
mm,
birthright.
mm,
So when you know your value and you know your worth, and I'm raised on these different things, is I just can't, I'm not regular, I'm not average, and
mm.
I know my value, as a woman, as a queen. So even when I didn't feel my best, I still held myself to a high regard at the same time.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. Woo! Yes, and yes, and yes. And another way to look at it, like from a practical perspective, ladies and gentlemen, would be, I look at it like as programming that we all got from when we were yay high, really when we were in our mother's womb, when adults around us was talking, oh, this is a busy one. Oh, she's feisty. Oh, she can't,
Mhm.
and we got those messages. We got the program. Of course, social media, as the sister said earlier, especially nowadays, it plays a huge role in shaping who we are. So it's like a programming. And yeah, when you were 3, you couldn't just like grab the keys and say, you know what? I don't want to hear this. I'm out. Take the keys and go. You couldn't do that. You were too small. You didn't have the vocabulary. You didn't have the ability. But she also stressed another important word. The sister said responsibility, right? So we're adults now and we're still blaming our parents. That's not taking responsibility. If we're adults now and we have children of our own, it's time to step it up and really take responsibility, not just for our life, but for our programming. In other
Yeah.
words, we get to deprogram all the crap that we were fed through social media and blah, 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 and recreate ourselves and give ourselves a new program through the self-talk that she was talking about. So there's work that can be done, but number one is taking that responsibility, and it's powerful. It's beautiful. I love how you put it. Our children are our gifts. I'm a mom, and I'm always saying that our children are here to teach us.
They teach me.
Yeah, every time my son elevated, because I kept him in private school and things like that, and every time he would elevate, I'm like, I feel like I'm in school because it stretched me. How am I going to pay the tuition? All kinds of things. It just makes you think outside the box. And then they have questions as kids. They want to know. As children,
Hmm.
not kids, children, they want to know. And so they do make us grow because we're no longer living just for ourselves. We're living for them. So it's a
Yeah.
thing, but yes. So start to do it. Like you said, look in the mirror. Michael Jackson said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Look in the mirror, y'all. And really identify, and some of it, again, may not be something you gave yourself. It could literally be things that you just never questioned because that's what they told you. They told you talk too much. They told you to shut up, sit down, be quiet, and you could be that advocate. You could be that lawyer. You could be like not speaking up. You could like not be showing up and shining because of what they told you. So now it's time for you to take responsibility and look at yourself and the value you bring to your families, your friends, your community, your career, your business. That's a beautiful thing. It's exciting. It's really
Yes.
exciting. Yeah. I love it. Now you dropped the third one, which was community. Spill a little bit of tea on that one.
Community is so important because having been in an environment where it's alignment and mindset is so important. It's vital to have other people who have a sense of a belief system like you, or just again like-minded, because they pour into you. You know, you're stretched. When you talk about how you stand with your children, you get to be stretched, and you also feel cared for. You don't feel alone. That's so important. When you're going through things, you feel alone. So in those situations, when you have community, you don't feel alone. And that helped bring you out of just your own world. It was able to help me to get out of what just seemed like it's just me, nobody but me. And I could be in a room full of people and still just felt like it's just me. Being in community, you get resources. Being in community, you just get strength, because by me being a part of a community, it was a community called Girl Hold My Hand. And in there, I learned how to meditate. I learned how to do affirmations. I learned how to have mirror.
Stormy?
Yes,
Yeah.
Coach Stormy. So I learned how to have mirror talks. I learned how to do so many things that I was not aware of, So I learned about her through the business, the TLC business, but I grew more to know about her through Girl Hold My Hand, So that was like a separate entity right there within itself, where I was taught how to introspect and hear the voices in my head. So when I actually had to sit down and meditate, and I literally was hearing my own thoughts, I'm like, whoa, or just realizing like I didn't have a vision anymore, and I'm a visionary and I couldn't see things anymore. So it was just like, I learned so many things. Community is so important. Yeah,
I love that. And I love how you, again, the values are just transferring right on over because of the movement you're creating as well for your clients and the women who you serve. Is you're creating that community too, because some people they don't have that at home. A lot of
yes,
times when we're trying to materialize these visions we have and change your trajectories and build wealth and a healthy legacy for ourselves and our children and our children's children. A lot of times our family could be haters. They could be the ones, and sometimes it's not necessarily bad intentions, but they could be the ones that's like discouraging and all of that. So it's nice, like you said, you can pull strength from the community when you have people like your mom who understands, and you can share that with. And that's what you want. And that, I think, especially for people of a color, we got all kinds of folks here
Mhm.
that we service, but I know that even for the people who are not black, who are our audience members, they have people like me in their lives. They have, sometimes family members and partners. So yeah, I know the deal. I
yes,
know the deal. And it's important to recognize and understand. But, there has been a lot done specifically to the black family in history. And so
yes,
you're repairing that, which I know your mom is big on that. And I have to have her on so she can share more about her business as well. But yeah, so there's a lot to repair and to recover from. And a lot of us are still suffering from that. And the work that you're doing is so admirable and so courageous. And it's powerful to have a community that can support you, that understands it, that could give you strength. And another thing I thought about was it also can help curve your learning, right? Like if you have
yes.
someone in that community like your mom, like yourself, really, I mean, you sound like you're way ahead of your years, honey.
Mhm.
Someone that hasn't had that exposure or that education or understanding, it's like, whoa, like they would be like, I never even thought of it like that. And that could shave their learning curve. So that's really, really powerful.
Yes.
There's an African proverb, it takes a village to make
I
a
was just about to say that. I
child.
always so in my on my shows, I always tell people I want you to be a part of my village, because it take a village to raise a child. Because when I'm talking to the mothers, again, we are the ones that's over our children. Through us, we either give life or we give death by our mentality.
Yes.
So we determine, what our culture and our civilization is going to look like. So I always tell people, be a
Okay.
part of my village, and who's here, my vibe, go attract your tribe. I
Yeah.
mean, yes, gonna attract my tribe. So you're gonna want to be a part of what
Yeah.
I have going on. But I have different people, like I said, that come on my platform that speak, and I have them because we need to know about different women resources that we need to
Oh,
have,
oh my.
to add.
That's what can help you get in the door, actually.
Yes, because it's not
Mhm.
always what you know, it's who you know, until it
Absolutely.
get to the point of who know you. So you got to do
Absolutely.
the work to
Yes.
get to that point, So
Powerful.
that's very vital. And the main thing that I did learn in business, that was the first thing when I talk about personal developing. Your business is only going to be as strong as your mind.
Say that again.
Your
Woo!
business is literally going to be as strong as your mind,
Mm,
because you can have all the things, but if you're mentally not there, it
mm,
counts for nothing. You have,
mm.
many famous people who have taken their lives because they cannot handle the
Mhm.
pressure,
Indeed. Right
of
about
life. You
that.
have so many people who lose money,
Yes.
because like it says, a food and their money will depart. So will perish. So at the same time, it's literally like your business again is only as strong as your mental. So it's the things that you feed yourself. You have to deprogram, to reprogram, to
Yeah.
strengthen, because you have 80,000 thoughts that's coming in
Mm.
daily, and it's not always positive,
Yeah.
and the work is not always physical, it's spiritual. 80% of the work is spiritual. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
so important too. We hustle backwards, and I had to learn that, just you definitely the work, you have to put in the work, but a lot of it is spiritual alignment.
So if y'all feeling like off, not in alignment, if you're not as productive as you could be, if your business is not booming, if you feel trapped in as far as not being able to create, if you're lacking that creativity, which we should never be lacking because we're made in the Father's image, the
Mhm.
ultimate creator. But if you're not creating like you know you should be, my sister friend here is saying, check on your spirituality. We can get away from that, especially in the society we live in, because it's like an agnostic society that pushes us away from the spiritual part of ourselves, the most important part. I think a lot of times we get caught up in this idea that we forget that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We get it flipped. We think it's all about the flesh and the human experience, but in fact, we're spiritual beings having a human experience.
Yes.
So that spirituality is supreme. Woo. And we do need that reminder. I don't think we hear that enough. You're certainly not going to hear that on the major news media channels. Okay, you got to tune into like the Montrella Cowan Show to get the real scoop. That's powerful. That's so real. So, and I know that, the thing, we're in this digital age and it's just so much information, but that soul searching is so important and you'll know what resonates with you. Remember, I distinguished earlier the fact from the truth. So, even with different religions, the truth in all of them remains the same. There's different expressions religiously, but the truth remains the same throughout those religions. So that's a powerful thing. So yes, tap into your spirituality. That should be on your vision board. That should be a part of the work that you are doing. That should be first and foremost for sure.
Mhm.
Love it. Anything
Yeah.
else you feel you want to share with our audience before we close out today?
Believe in yourself.
Mm,
Believe in yourself, because it's people not going to believe in you. People not going to like you or what you're doing, and that's okay. God didn't give the vision to them, he gave it to you. So you have to believe in that. And even if you may have to change the route, the end goal doesn't change. And
mm,
you have to see that you have to see the end goal in the beginning of everything that you do. So prioritize yourself. So that's one of the main things that I tell my mothers. You have to prioritize yourself, put
mm,
yourself first. Self-love is important, self-care is important. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So when you really sit with yourself and you take time to invest with you, go walking, journal, ground, whatever it is that you need to do to pour into yourself, do that, because it's so often we give so much of ourselves and we're depleted, especially as business owners. And the goal is to pour from overflow. Pour
Mm.
from your overflow. Don't give all yours. I literally seen this video before, and it was like a guy, he had a cup and he
Mm.
had another cup of water,
Mm.
and the water, it filled up the other cup, but he just kept filling it and it was just overflowing. And he
Mm.
says, you give from the overflow, not your cup that's filled. So when you do give from that, you will still remain filled. So my goal is to help women to fill their cup
Mm.
and to reclaim their power
Mm.
and to give from that.
Ooh.
And my last thing I would say, you are the prize, and may you never forget it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mic drop, mic drop. Woo! Yes, believe in yourself, ladies and gentlemen. Believe in yourself. And that's why that community piece that you talked about earlier is so crucial because absolutely, especially when you're doing God's work and you're being obedient and you're serving. And the goal is to expand in that serving. So if you're dealing with one-on-one is to go to one to many and one to millions, and because God does it big. He doesn't do anything small. In fact, God's math is multiplication, not addition. So when you're doing that kind of work, though, woo, what we say in the Christian churches, the devil is busy. The
Yes.
devil gets busy. And you are going to have a lot of different energies and forces coming from everywhere, it seems. The people that you really thought you could count on may let you down. So being connected to a community like Mommy and Me is going to be your power surge. It's going to be where you're able to fill your cup. And like she said, then serve from the overflow. That is powerful stuff. Woo! We're going to have a part two with you, girlfriend.
To
You are
be.
I see. I thought I knew. Hi, I'm just meeting you. You are a powerhouse. We're gonna have to look at some other things we can do together. But I really am so grateful for you and your service to the community and your commitment to healthy families and healthy communities. Your work makes a difference in who you are.
Thank you.
Power of knowing who you are is very refreshing and beautiful. So thank you, my dear.
Yes, I want to say thank you again to have me on your show as an honor guest. This is a big deal. There's nothing lightweight about you. I'm over here like sweating because I'm so excited, to be here with you and just all the great work that you do in the community. You are so amazing. Honoring for me to see someone that looks like me, and you give me more of a drive, more of a fuel to keep going so
Yeah.
I can be on the other side of that mic. So thank you for paving the way for another woman like me.
Yeah.
And I look forward to more with
Yeah.
us.
Congratulations. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Thank you. And it's my pleasure and honor. And you're an inspiration as well, my dear. Do you have any book that you recommend or that you love the most or that you're currently reading that you would recommend to the audience?
I am a reader. I
I
don't
love
know which one. Goodness, that is a great question.
for business specifically, like that could help them with their business.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I mean, I know that's cliche because that's the main book, but that's so important, thinking
Absolutely.
and growing rich.
Absolutely.
That's a really enrich dad, poor dad. That's a really great book.
Oh, that
So
put it
yeah.
too, real practical. I love it. Two powerful ones, two classics. Think and Grow Rich, that got it all. The visualization, we talked about the visualization, the passion, the desire, organization. He talks about the mastermind, how when you come together, it's instead of one battery, it's like a collection. Timeless, 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 precious jewels. And then that rich dad, poor dad. Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. So it doesn't matter what side of the tracks you were born on, you can learn through Robert Kiyosaki. And it's good because it shows us how rich people spend their money and what they spend it on versus what poor people, who largely are consumers. So
Yes.
rich people have a way where they make their money work for them.
You know what? I want to recommend another book. Like I said, I could go down the list of books, but the book Let Them by Mel Robbins, I feel like that is a really great book.
Okay.
Because you have to learn how to let them to let
Okay.
you. And
Yeah.
that's so important with business. That's important in all relationships.
Okay.
I talked about that control, but just let them. You
Yeah.
just have to get into it and you'll
Yeah.
really.
With that, it's kind of like God, we got to trust God with that, right? If we see somebody, we're just so busy trying to push and pull them to do it this way, the way we think. It's like, no, God got it.
Yeah.
Whatever lessons they're supposed to get after they bump their head a million times, like God got it. We have to trust that. So yeah, we can let them. We can let them grow and evolve, just like they allow us to grow and evolve. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's important. I love it. Three. Yeah, is the reason. All right, sister. Well, I appreciate you and
I
your
appreciate
generosity
you.
and your wisdom. And yeah, you keep on bossing. I'll be looking out for your journal. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Later.
Good night.